Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to discuss on the NATO and the Warsaw Pact. What we will learn today: what NATO was, why NATO was set up, how the USSR responded, the importance of NATO and the Warsaw Pact. What was NATO and why was it set up? By the end of the 1940s, many Westerners were beginning to worry about the large armies which Russia had stationed in Eastern Europe. How could the Berlin blockade be considered proof that the USSR was a danger to Western Europe? The USA used this fear to set up an alliance to defend the Western world. It was called the North Atlantic Treaty Organization NATO, and countries signed up in April 1949. 12 countries originally signed the treaty. US officials called NATO an antidote to fear. How do you think the USSR perceived it? Impacts on the arms race. The USA and the USSR competed to build more and more powerful weapons. This was called the arms race, and it is closely linked to NATO and the Warsaw Pact. Each side tried to become more powerful than the other. The USA claimed NATO was a defensive alliance against the USSR. However, when NATO was first set up, the USA had a nuclear monopoly on the world. The USSR did not even test nuclear weapons until later that year. By then, the USA was working on even more powerful versions. Why do you think the USA really was so keen on NATO? The reaction of the USSR. In May 1955, West Germany was admitted into NATO. How do you think the USSR felt about this? Worst fears realized Germany being rebuilt and now part of a military alliance. What was the real purpose of NATO? Could it be offensive? And what is an action is needed? What can the USSR do to counter NATO? Creation of the Warsaw Pact. West Germany joining NATO now meant that Germany once again had military power. For the Soviets, who had suffered greatly at the hands of the Germans, this was too much. The Soviets set up the Warsaw Pact, which the Eastern European countries signed. It was intended to be a defensive alliance like NATO, but it was essentially used to keep control in Eastern Europe. Why do you think the USSR set up the Warsaw Pact? Why was the Warsaw Pact created?